Okay, so today we're going to be talking about power of sales in foreclosures in the GTA. And always for coming on the call, we will be providing you with an updated list of power of sale properties in the GTA. So I'm pretty sure that everybody has seen this presentation before, but if you haven't, or if you have, it's okay. I'll do it again. So let's get started. Now, the reason I like to run this presentation is because this explains what happens when lenders don't get paid. In this case, it's the banks that don't get paid. And then what they choose to do is try to recoup their investment. Typically through a power of sale. Ontario, we typically use power of sales. So foreclosures versus power of sales. It's good to know the difference. A power of sale is typically what the banks would use because it's faster to do. And this usually happens when the borrower is in default, so they haven't made a payment. And usually they'll do a power of sale and not a foreclosure, as a foreclosure takes much more time, take over a year. Power of sales typically can be done within 6 months. Now, this is a way for the lender to get their money back by forcing the sale of the property. So let's focus on the power of sale procedure in Ontario. Power of sale is a procedure that's used in Ontario when a homeowner defaults on the mortgage payment. Now, this can be done to a bank, it could be done to a private lender, and these are the similar remedies that you would take to help you secure and recoup your investment. So both the lender and the borrower or the homeowner must follow the Ontario power of sale procedure. So the power of sale is a standard clause allowing the mortgagee to sell the mortgage property if there's a default. So if these guys don't pay you, you need to do something, and this is what you're going to do to remedy the situation, which is sell the property to recoup your money. So a notice regarding the exercise of power of sale cannot be given until the default has continued for at least 15 days. So if any of your landlords, you probably know it's the same type of procedure. You have to wait for a specific amount of time before you can issue notices. Furthermore, the sale cannot be made for at least 35 days after the notice has been given. So notice of sale contains a redemption date not less than 40 days. Now, the good thing about power of sales in Ontario is we have a really low default rate, which is less than 1%. So that means that we don't get a lot of power of sales that come on, but there are power of sales. Coupled with the requirement of a day to issue the notice of sale and 1 day to end the notice period, the minimum amount of time for this portion of the process is 45 days. Most lawyers issuing notice under power of sale provide 40 to 45 days as part of a due diligence, because what they want to do is they want to make sure that there is no miscalculation. As if there is a miscalculation, kind of like the same thing with trying to get a tenant out of your property, the whole procedure has to be started again. The homeowner has the right to bring the mortgage into good standing, which means paying the costs and the arrears and the costs. Now, the redemption period. This is very important to the homeowner. If the homeowner pays the money required under the notice of sale prior to the end of the redemption period, the notice of sale is voided. So if the homeowner does not pay, the process moves on to the next step. So this is good for all you, for the lenders out there, right? For people that's lending money. This is a procedure that you'd have to take part of if somebody was to default and not pay you. Now, a few days before the notice of power of sale is issued, a sub-search from your lawyer is typically done to find out what kind of other liens are against this property and who else has an interest in this mortgage property subsequent to the priority of the lenders. So the notice is attached to the Mortgage Act, and this is called the Notice of Power of Sale. So the lender basically is going to advise you, and they're going to advise you that they have an intention of exercising the power of sale, and they're going to put stuff such as the date that the mortgage was made, the parties in the mortgage of the mortgage property, the amount owing, and a warning stating that if the amount is not paid by a specific date, they will exercise the sale of the property. The redemption period. Oops, let's see. I think there's a question. Okay, sounds good, Ian. So redemption period. If the redemption period has passed without the homeowner making any payments, then the lender is legally allowed to foreclose on the property. If the period of time noted above expires and the mortgage has not been remedied by the homeowner, the lender can issue a statement of claim in superior court. And what that means is it just means that you're getting sued. So if anybody's been sued before for whatever reason, a statement of claim just gives you, it's just a warning saying, it's a letter saying that you're getting sued, which basically requests the possession of the property and asks the court to allow the property be sold, and so that they could pay off the debt. Okay. Statement of claim. Brema, are you still there, or did I lose you too? Okay, good. We'll continue on. I think Ian has saw this a couple of times, so it probably bores him. Statement of claim. So the homeowner has 20 days from receiving the statement of claim to issue a defense, or 30 days to issue a notice of intent to defend. Now, if no defense is filed, the lender can obtain a default judgment. So if a defense is filed, the lender will often bring a motion of summary, as there are few defenses available for a default on a mortgage. In either event, judgment is usually obtained in short order. The lender will use the judgment to issue a writ of possession with the court and will file the same with the sheriff. Now, this is almost, it's very identical to evicting a tenant, because what's going to happen is the sheriff will ensure that the homeowner is evicted from the property. Under the power of sale, the bank has the right to sell the property by auction or private contract or tender. Usually the properties are listed on the MLS because they just find that's the best way to market the property. And it's because the bank has noticed that they can sell the property under power of sale at current market value. Now, the Mortgage Act, once the property is sold, if there's any surplus, the lender must account to the homeowner or the homeowners and other parties with vested interests. In the Mortgage Act, it requires that the proceeds of the sale will first be applied to the cost of conducting the sale, and then interest owing under the mortgage. Then the principal amount owing under the mortgage. Next, pays the amount to the other party, and finally the tenant's deposit. Too bad the tenants get the last part of it. Okay, so the power of sale procedure in Ontario could be quite complicated. Professional real estate investors, is it good to buy a power of sale property? Do we get a discounted price? Look, any deal could be a good deal if the property is bought right. So I would say if you're looking at buying a property as an investment, or even just getting into real estate, yeah, getting a power of sale could be a good deal. Buying a pre-power of sale could be a good deal as well. But you have to compare. You have to look at the actual deal to make sure that it's a good deal. And that's where we help you. We help you get financing on the deal. We help you we guide you through the deal, and to make sure that you're getting a good deal. So in my opinion, a better deal would be to get a pre-power of sale. Now, this is a win-win for both parties because with a pre-power of sale, it's before the property actually went power of sale. So you get a discounted price without paying all that legal fees because the homeowner knows that they're gonna be in trouble because they're gonna be missing some payments. Do we get a discounted price? Now the discounted price is negotiated, and when these homes are listed on the MLS, I'll show you some examples. You can see like this example over here. These properties are being sold as is, where is, right? With no warranties, no guarantees. So your typical buyer is going to be very hesitant to take these properties because at the end of the day, they could be walking into a property and seeing the way it looks today, but when they take possession, everything can be missing, right? And they have no recourse. The appliances can be gone, the light fixtures can be gone. They could pull up the carpets and take the carpets with them if they wanted to, right? So there's no recourse because you're buying it as is. So you'll see on a lot of these properties that are power of sale, they're gonna have that. Let me get my little pointer. They're gonna get this as is clause in there, right? So what you want to do is when you're looking at power of sales, you want to look at a couple of things. One, how long it's been on the market for, which is your DOM, days on the market. You want to see if it's vacant or if it's tenanted. Chances are you don't want a tenant in there because if there is a tenant in there, you might have a difficult time. You might have a difficult time getting them out. Other thing you want to make sure is you want to make sure that there's been some time on the market. So this one's been 5 days on the market. This is a new listing. As you can see, all these listings have home is sold as is. So can you get this at a good deal? Sure, you can get this at a good deal if you negotiate the price properly and you know what to look for. You want to look for a vacant property. You definitely don't want a tenant in there like this one, which is tenanted, because you might have a really difficult time getting out the renter. And that could drag on and that could cost you extra money. Other thing is you want to look at who the seller is, right? This is a seller. It's a mortgage fund. They're basically selling the property. This property's been on the market for 10 days. There's a price reduction on it, which says price change. So these are the kind of deals you want to look at, right? You can see they're motivated. They did a price reduction, 10 days on the market, except for the fact that it's tenanted. What you want to do is you want to find something that has an occupancy that's vacant, right? There's nobody in the place right now. This one's tenanted. This one is vacant, right? This one just came on the market. Like this is 5 days on the market. So this is not something you really want to look at, but you can still negotiate it on it and you could probably get a good price on it. So that's basically it for power of sales. There's a couple of things you need to look out for. You got to make sure that you get, because otherwise you could get yourself into a little bit of a mess, meaning you could overpay for the property. So you could buy something at a better deal for a better price where you have warranties, you have guarantees, but when you buy the power of sale wrong, it's like going to an auction and overpaying, right? Because you're thinking you're getting a deal. So there's specific stuff you have to look at for getting this power of sale. And then the other thing is you have to be able to negotiate that deal down, knowing what the market value is, knowing what the street sells for, or that area sells for, and then you also have to be able to work the seller down, you know, at a price where it makes it a good deal. Okay, but it is but the bank is the seller, right? So when you see, let me just show you again. So when you see over here, you're gonna look at the seller, right? This is the Bank of Montreal. This is over here. This is a mortgage company. So some of these mix, when they do an 80% loan to value, there could be some good equity in the property, right? But for some reason, the person just didn't pay. So you have to really look who the seller is. Typically, it's going to be a mortgage investment corporation. It's going to be a loan company, a credit union. These are typically, or it could just be like me, right? I'd be the seller because let's say you didn't pay me and I'm going to sell the property right now to pay off the mortgage, to recoup my money. So you just have to look at who the seller is. For rent. Yeah, so for Waterloo, I have some good deals for student rentals. These are not power of sales, but they're very good deals. So if you wanted to get in touch with me, I can send you some of the deals. These are student rentals, but legal student rentals. What you want to do is you definitely don't want to take a house and turn it into like a rooming house, because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble, and it's a lot of work. So the ones that I know of are properties that are student rentals close to Waterloo, fully managed for you, and you make a good return. And it's built purposely for student rentals, not too old, but these ones are in buildings. These are probably the best ones you want to go after. The ones that's in a building, because you don't have to worry about the common maintenance, it's all taken care of, and it gets managed right there. You know what, I can send you the listing, and then you can take a look at it. And if you're interested in knowing more, we can always go through more of it. But I definitely think that's a good play, especially now when people are maybe trying to get rid of some of their inventory. Yeah. See, a house with a basement has a lot of work, right? House with a if you take a house with a basement, you got to make sure that the basement is legal, because a lot of guys are renting out basement apartments. All you need is one nasty renter or a bad neighbor to call the city on you. Next thing you know, your basement apartment is shut down, and then you lose revenue stream on there. So it might be a challenge getting a legal basement apartment. How old is the house? Well, I mean, there's if you're looking at just a house, like there's old houses and there's newer houses. It just depends. Like there's new build houses down in Waterloo as well, close to the university. So why don't I do this? Let me send you my email address. Oops, I sent it to Ian. Let me send you. Okay, this is my email address. Send me an email and I will send you some stuff that's in that Waterloo McMaster area. I will also give you some advice in terms of how to buy it. And I will also see if we have any pre-foreclosures in the McMaster area for you. So if we do have any pre-foreclosures, Brema, I will send you that list. And then we can, these will be off the marketplaces. But I'm thinking a better option for you could be McMaster. But yeah, go ahead and send me an email, and I'll send you what we have. And yeah, we can go from there.